through our feeds or watching movies, and we are constantly bombarded with these images of absolute, undeniable perfection. We're talking flawless faces, razor-sharp jawlines, perfectly sculpted bodies, not a single blemish in sight. And naturally, we just assume, wow, these celebrities are insanely genetically blessed. But what if I told you that the vast majority of this perfection isn't born at all? It's manufactured. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are going to strip away all those glamorous filters and take a hard look at the multi-billion-dollar cosmetics industry. We're going to unpack the physical risks, the psychological damage, and the literally life-threatening price of chasing fake beauty. Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand our current reality, you have to hear this quote that just perfectly captures the whole entertainment industry mindset. Actress Rocky Sawant openly said, "The things that God doesn't give, doctors give." And honestly, she is far from alone in this. It's estimated that over 90% of Bollywood actors and actresses have had some kind of cosmetic surgery. Most of them won't ever admit it, of course, but the few who actually do, like Shruti Hassan, who was totally upfront about getting a nose job and lip fillers, they reveal a really stark truth. The beauty standards we have today, they are entirely surgical. That timeless beauty we're all admiring is coming from scalpels, not genetics. So we end up with this massive disconnect. On one hand, you have public perception. Everything looks flawless, effortless, glowing. It just looks so natural. But the private reality? It's vastly different, and honestly, pretty gory. Behind closed clinic doors, it involves scalpels, injections of dangerous neurotoxins, and severe, life-threatening medical risks. Because at the end of the day, this industry's sole purpose is to make you feel deeply insecure about your natural, real face, just so you'll buy into their surgical solutions. But what are the actual physical costs of those solutions? Part 1. Anatomy of risky procedures. What really happens on the operating table. We really need to strip away all the Hollywood glamour here and look at what actually goes down, starting with one of the oldest and most common cosmetic surgeries out there, the nose job, or rhinoplasty. When we hear nose job, we think it's quick and simple, right? Like just a little tweak. But listen to how this actually works. Step 1. The surgeon completely removes the top scale layer of your nose, literally peels it back. Step 2. The actual nasal bone inside your face is violently filed down and cut. And then step 3, the cartilage is trimmed and repositioned. This is not some gentle afternoon beauty treatment. It is a brutal, highly invasive trauma to your actual facial structure. And because it is so incredibly invasive, the risks are huge. You'd think with modern medicine it's a sure thing, but even today, there is a 5 to 10% chance that a rhinoplasty will just go wrong. And if it fails, the patient can be left with a permanently disfigured face, or they might have severe lifelong trouble even just breathing. I mean, that is a massive, massive gamble to take just to fit a specific aesthetic. And to understand just how devastating that gamble can be, we really only have to look at global superstar Priyanka Chopra. Back in the early 2000s, she went in for a rhinoplasty, and the doctor accidentally cut her nasal bridge. That's the upper part of the nose right between your eyes. Her nose completely collapsed. It drastically altered her entire face. As she notes here, she was suddenly thrown out of 3 movies and spiraled into a deep, painful depression. Her career was practically over before it even started, and it took multiple, intense corrective surgeries just to try and fix the damage. Section 2. Lethal enhancements, the high price of the perfect body. But, the risks go way, way beyond just facial tweaks. Recently, there's been this insane pressure to have a perfectly sculpted hourglass figure, and it's led to a massive spike in highly dangerous body contouring surgeries. The undisputed king of these dangers, the Brazilian butt lift, or BBL. They take fat from other parts of your body and inject it into the buttocks. The risk, a staggering 1 in 3,000 people who get this procedure die from it. Just let that sink in for a second. 1 in every 3,000 patients literally loses their life. It is universally recognized as the single most dangerous cosmetic surgery in the world, and yet, no way. It is still the fastest growing procedure of the last decade. Now, what's really interesting about this is when you break down the acute medical danger, the timing is just shocking. Of the people who tragically die from a Brazilian butt lift, 50% of them pass away right there on the operating table. The other 50%, they are killed within just 3 hours of the surgery ending. The trauma to the human body is immediate and it's catastrophic. It perfectly highlights how an industry that looks so shiny and glamorous on the outside is hiding some incredibly dark, lethal realities on the inside. And the lethal risks absolutely do not stop at BBLs. Let's look at liposuction. It carries a real risk of fatal fluid buildup in the lungs. That's a complication that tragically took the life of Kannada actress Chetna Raj back in 2022. Then we've got breast implants. A lot of patients actually end up having them removed later because they cause severe chronic chest pain, horrible brain fog, and shortness of breath. And what about Botox? You know, that miracle secret to a wrinkle-free face? It's actually a literal neurotoxin produced by Clostridium botulinum bacteria. It works by blocking nerve signals to temporarily paralyze your muscles. Fixing or altering just one feature so often kicks off this incredibly dangerous cycle of bodily trauma. Section 3. The Skin Lightening Danger. Vanity's Fatal Dose. Okay, this brings us to another incredibly dangerous trend, and it's particularly prevalent in South Asia and Bollywood. You see these celebrities who started their careers with naturally darker complexions, and suddenly they're showing up shades lighter. They'll tell you it's just from drinking lots of water, getting 8 hours of sleep, or staying out of the sun. But come on, the clinical reality is way more toxic. The actual secret behind this unnatural fairness is glutathione injections. Now, originally, this was intended as a heavy-duty
cardiac
medication,
arrest right after getting a
glutathione injection on an empty stomach. It's a stark, heartbreaking reminder that we are dealing with serious, heavy-duty pharmaceuticals here, not just harmless little beauty treatments. Section 4. The hidden psychological toll, the mind behind the mirror. Because listen, when millions of everyday people are constantly comparing themselves to fake, surgically altered standards, the societal damage is immense. And this brilliantly illustrates the point. A study out of Coimbatore surveyed 1,220 college girls just to gauge their body image. A staggering 77% of these young women reported being unhappy with their bodies. Just imagine being an 18-year-old girl. You're scrolling through Instagram, looking at these manufactured Bollywood and Hollywood faces, and you have no idea they're the result of scalpels and fillers. You look in the mirror and you just wonder, why doesn't my skin glow like theirs? Why isn't my nose that sharp? It breeds this deep, entirely unwarranted dissatisfaction with yourself. And in severe cases, this intense societal pressure triggers something called body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. It's a severe psychiatric condition where a person will obsess over perceived physical flaws for hours and hours every single day. Outwardly, they might look completely, perfectly fine, but the gap in their mind between their natural face and that fake celebrity standard causes unbelievable distress. It leads to depression, severe anxiety, eating disorders, and tragically, sometimes even suicide. And the wildest part? The plastic surgery market literally profits off inducing this exact psychological slavery. If we zoom out to a macro level, this relentless pursuit of a single, unified beauty standard is literally erasing cultural and ethnic diversity. It leads straight to internalized racism, where people genuinely start believing that the way their family or their community naturally looks just isn't beautiful. Take this, for example. 50% of East Asian populations naturally do not have an upper eyelid crease. Because of that, creating one is the third most requested cosmetic surgery among Asian Americans, just to fit a Western standard. Globally, people are erasing their natural ethnic features to chase what's known as the Instagram face. It's that unified look popularized by the Kardashians. The cat-like eyes, the tiny sharp nose, the eye cheekbones, the big lips. Everyone is paying to look exactly the same. Section 5. Rejecting fake standards. Reclaiming your reality. We absolutely have to wake up and recognize that the multi-billion-dollar cosmetic industry is manipulating us. That's their business model. They sell you the disease of insecurity, and then they conveniently sell you the cure, whether that's some heavily marketed fairness cream or a wildly dangerous surgical procedure. So the absolute most crucial thing to understand here is that beauty standards are just trends, and trends, they constantly change. This is the ultimate beauty trap. Think about it. In the mid-2000s, the trend was to be a size 0. People starved themselves, they got liposuction. Today, thanks to the Kardashian Effect, the trend is an exaggerated hourglass figure, driving people to get lethal Brazilian butt lifts. If you try to chase these shifting goalposts, you are going to be trapped in an endless, deadly cycle of surgical fixes, endlessly modifying your own body just to fit the flavor of the decade. Ultimately, true beauty really does come from accepting your natural features, your natural skin tone, and your unique body type. But as we wrap up, we want to leave you with this provocative question to really think about. With social media filters, intense photo editing, and now AI perfectly masking the scalpels, the scars, and the ugly realities of these procedures, how many more lives is the blind pursuit of fake beauty going to claim? The very next time you're scrolling through your feed and you feel that sudden pang of insecurity, just remember what you are looking at isn't reality. It is a highly edited, surgically enhanced illusion. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. Until next time.